Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I'm your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. Today is a new day. In fact, we're in a new sign. It started officially yesterday, but we are now, we're definitely in the sign of Scorpio. So for those of people who are born, and it depends on the location and the time, but this is Scorpio season. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. All right, everybody. Before I have an offbeat topic to talk about, but I will be taking birthdays, questions, things of that nature. So that's for sure. So don't worry. Um, but before I do that, let me start with today's forecast. All righty. It is a Wednesday. The sun is in Scorpio. It's a new moon in Scorpio. It's a one universal month, a 5 universal week, a 5 universal day. So therefore, any Geminis or Virgos in the audience or people born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd of the month, well, this should be an interesting day for you, hopefully. Our sponsors is brought to you by Nicholas Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street. And they're having this Friday, Brother Haru, who is we talk about health. And it's going to be on Saturday, the 24th. That's right. And the doors open at 5 p.m. So for those of you who want to reserve a space, click on the QR code that's at the bottom right, and you will have your information. Then the following first Saturday in November on the 1st, they're going to be having Cheryl McKissick Daniel explaining about her amazing book on the Black family who built America. Some of the original things that you see that were constructed, well, her family had a lot to do with it. And fortunately, she's passed that legacy on through her book. So that's going to be great. That's going to be from 12 to 2 p.m. on Saturday the 1st. Okay. Then next is Uchenna. He will be on a week from today. However, if you go to Amazon, you will find that his book isn't there yet. It will be, but you can download the ebook version and there is no charge. So for those who want to get a jump on things, so when he comes on, you can maybe have questions you want to ask about the Ba and the Ka concepts and other concepts that he uniquely developed. It'll give you a chance to put in your questions. Next is Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. And she has her book out. Speaking of books, there's a lot of books being coming out. All you got to do is just go to Amazon, order her book, leave a review, take a screenshot, mail the screenshot in and the business form to Manifest on Purpose at gmail.com. And if you're a business owner, she will send you a report. And also she's developed a companion piece too, because the number 2 business playbook. Okay. My buddy King Simon, he will be featuring an event coming up on November 15th and 16th, which is in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks practically, celebrating the years that he has really dedicated himself to the community and things like that. So that should be there. So he's going to be giving more information. I will have him on just leading up to the event itself. Also, Melinda Valentine's, her numeralytics. So she has a AAA for your spiritual journey and a spiritual energy alignment specialist about key consults, PASS, which is pathway alignment, signature sessions, 60 minutes, CAR, which is codex alignment readings, which is 90 minutes. And so for those of you who wish to get information, her number is at the bottom of the screen, 302-492-7722. And let's see, I think, and by the way, now that we're in the season of water, you can pick up her companion book, The Water Sign Reflections of Cancer and Scorpio and Pisces. So if you're any one of those signs, especially Scorpios, that's the one right in the center, pick it up and add it to your collection. Then we get to next month, which would be the sign of Sagittarius, which is fire. We'll promote that. But right now, we're going to promote the more water reflection side of her 4-part journal. Okay. Then one more, that is Recept. I've had the gentleman on my show. He is from India. He's developer of the Star 8 app, but he's also developed a unique service for those of you who want to go into business. And the way things are happening with this craziness and shutdowns, a lot of people are going to want to be taking alternative routes. So perhaps this will help you in setting up, getting things started. And then on the 5th of November, I'm going to have both Jazz Aphrodite and Eric Taylor on talking about a workshop they're going to be giving on the 8th. So with that said, if you got questions, birthdays, everything, I'll take those in a minute. It's very interesting, this thing of AI. I've used AI in a limited way. I mean, there's some people that are knee deep into it. I mean, they just go down the rabbit hole with it. I had no idea how many AI products there are to do so many things. But there's one thing that I was thinking about, which is the pros and the cons of this, because it's very, very interesting that AI has been used for constructive things, but then also things that have been misused. For example, excuse me, there was a video I saw where Michael Jackson was in this chicken store and he was dancing. And at first I thought it was really him. And I'm saying, where did that come from? But that was an AI. And what happens is, I read a piece later on about Martin Luther King. His estate, Martin Luther King Jr.'s estate, had to put a cease and desist against Open Chat GPT. I think that's Sam Altman's development, about misusing his figure or likeness or voice to say things that was not true, things that were more incendiary, things that if you know him, you know that that's not him at all. So also then there's one that came out last week where it was Department of Homeland Security, by the way. It had a picture of young teenagers, Black young teenagers in a field, and the young brother was putting a mask on his face, and it said that they were coming after ICE. That is, the people that's going through these different cities, collecting people or whatever the case is. However, that was not true. The original piece of that, these young brothers was talking to Iran, that they were supportive of the United States and that they would stand against Iran. Totally different. So I'm seeing that there's a lot of misuse of this AI. And what I'm saying is this: they've gotten so sophisticated with AI, they can use my voice, my likeness, my appearance, and you'll be looking at a 30-second short or something like that. Sworn LLoyd Strayhorn did this and LLoyd Strayhorn did that. So what it's telling me is that, as you heard from me who listened to my show, I have this attitude: you either think for yourself or someone will do your thinking for you. And what that simply means is that all of us, especially the viewers within the Live with Lloyd family, have to be very discerning, not just because Richard Pryor once had this joke. He says, who do you believe, me or your lying eyes? I think it was Richard Pryor, but the point is that it's almost saying that what you're seeing, you're not seeing. And so I'm just saying too, if you know your family members, like, only because when you got people like myself, well, I'm like a small fish in the pond, but people, I think there was some big person, popular person, where somebody used the AI and had him doing something he wasn't doing. Now, this is interesting because years ago when I was on the Steve Harvey show, he told me that when he went into airports, he no longer had fans take pictures because, and now this was way before AI came into the scene. And he says, because what happens is then one lady posted that me and Steve Harvey about to go to the Caribbean or something like that. So celebrities especially have to be very careful. People of note or notoriety or whatever the case is have to be very, very careful. For those who have been and with me for the last 3 years and doing this or new, first of all, and I always forget to say this, and it's always start at the top, but I forget to say that I will never ever DM you for money, because that's what it seems to be doing. Instead of these, and I always took it so amazing that if the people can be creative to copycat and maneuver, why can't they just be original and create their own stuff? I know that sounds simplistic, but I guess there are those. So I doubt very seriously what anybody would do that, or why would they do that to me? But you never know, because there's always going to be somebody that ain't got squat to do, but maybe make somebody's life miserable. So what I'm saying is that when you're watching things and looking at things, and especially, oh, that's so and so, they might see me. I was trying to think of something ridiculous that if people who listen to me know, that don't sound like Stray at all. That's not how he rolls. But for those who may not know, and because we are so busy accepting things that are put in front of us visually, and now through sophistication and slickness and sounds, that people will actually think it is true. Because when I first saw this piece with Michael Jackson, he was holding his box of chicken. He was there. I mean, everything would look authentic. And I said, where did that come from? But this is just a part of what is happening. The people will take a person's likeness, their voice, or whatever the case is. I pray that ain't nobody got any reason to misuse my images or anything like that, but you never know. But what I'm saying is to be very, very, very discreet. And in fact, that's what brought me to some things I have, because I wrote down some of the pros and cons of AI. And I thought it's very interesting. Where is my notes? Okay. Because I wanted to kind of make sure. So it's a balance. So for those who are using their AIs constructively, building a business, things like that, that makes a lot of sense. For those that have nothing else to do because they ain't got nothing else to do, then that's something else. So on the positive side, it said increase efficiency and productivity. I can relate to that. Reduce human errors, especially when there are things that have to be done on a redundant basis. Then it says enhance customer experiences. And in fact, one of the things about my app, A Star 8, is I am going to be adding an AI component to it to enhance the customer experience. So that I agree with. Innovations in research, safety, and security. Now, what are the cons about it? Well, that is a job displacement. And most people know now that from what is told or what is rumored, that a lot of these corporations are thinking of replacing the human experience in the workplace with robots. They don't have to pay no 401ks, no health benefits, no bonuses, no vacation time. They can work them around the clock. I do think that takes away the human experience, though. There are ethical concerns that says AI systems can exhibit bias if trained on biased data. And I'm saying that people of color have been the most biased there is when it comes to a description of people, leading to unfair discriminatory outcomes in areas like hiring or loan applications, your privacy risks, high initial costs, potentials for misuse. And these are the two concerns I have, because it says AI can be used to create malicious contents like deep fakes or facilitate large-scale fraud and propaganda. Thus, what I was saying about the Department of Homeland Security using these images of teenagers, and when you looked at it, they thought, as the young brother was pulling up his mask, you could tell he was a kid. Now we're going to go after ICE. And as the camera panned back, about 4 or 5, about 7 or 8 kids sitting in the field. I mean, you would have laughed at them. Those guys are going to take on ICE. Are you serious? But that was not the point. The point is just almost to create that when you see young Black men, they're going to go after ICE. When that video was created by the teenager, and the teenager actually made an after video about, it wasn't about that at all. It was about them in the field, nothing to do. And now he says he's got more hate mail, more, this is what I'm talking about. So you got to say, does that sound like Lloyd? Does that sound like so and so? Especially with your family members, because one of the things they'll make it doing something you didn't know about, were not aware about, but if you're not of a discerning kind of mind. So this is all I'm saying. But the one thing about the human experience versus AI, it doesn't have a human intuition. What do I mean? Have you ever been in a situation where you met somebody and you just felt very comfortable with them? You don't know them, never met them, but the energy is kind of like cool. Then in another instance, you meet somebody and although they didn't do nothing, say nothing, you're not feeling them. Well, AI has not mastered that, and I doubt very seriously if they can. They may imitate it, but they won't be able to have that human experience. And that's the beauty of being a human being. So again, think for yourself. If not, somebody will definitely do your thinking for you. And I will do one more last thing, because I heard this week or earlier this week that they're now being placed safeguards on these media sites, like the meta sites, Instagram and whatnot, because youngsters have been committing suicide, things of that nature. And in fact, Meta is implicating safeguards for its AI products, particularly in response to concerns about protecting young users. And I'm talking about for those of you who have children at home, young nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters and whatnot. And the Federal Trade Commission are scrutinizing these efforts, citing instances of harm and internal dissent at the company simultaneously. Other media sites, and I mean, some of this have been encouraging suicide. So one of the things Meta-specific AI safeguards supposed to be parental control for all AI chats, which means that Meta is rolling out new parental supervision tools for AI characters on its platform, including Instagram. Parents will be able to block specific AI characters or turn off AI chats completely. This will also gain insights into the general topics that teens are discussing with AI, but not the full chat transcript. They also developing a PG-13 content too, the standard for teens. Teens account on Meta platforms are being set to a PG-13 content standard by default for their AI interactions, and this is intended to prevent age-inappropriate responses, including those with romantic or sexual undertones. Then age verification to prevent teens from bypassing safeguards by lying about their age. Meta will use an AI-powered age predictor technology. I don't know how they're going to do that because people can be something else. But also one of the things was it was used to make sure that some of these AI platforms don't encourage suicide, because sometimes when you're, I guess, because people are not interacting as much as they should, it's just kind of like you feel that, well, AI is my best friend since I don't have nobody else. And one of the things is this active encouragement of harm, because it says the Common Sense Media Reports found that Meta's AI could actively assist teens in planning harmful activities such as substance abuse, and even remembering and reinforcing suicidal or eating disorders. So I'll leave it at that. I know this has nothing to do with a show like mine, and I think the AI is beautiful. I think there's this thing I saw. My son came here and showed me this thing called Sora, Sora, where it take a picture of you and then they'll have you doing anything. I'll be in a jet. I'll be racing 1,000 miles an hour or whatever the case. I mean, it's just amazing. But in the wrong hands with the wrong mindsets, it can be very, very destructive. So I'm just saying it to my family. Please, when you're using this AI, and especially when your youngsters are using this AI, please do it with discretion, with insight and everything. Other than that, now I'm on to something else. Now, let me tell you what's going to be happening. And by the way, let me go back to everybody, start from the beginning. And I always, Eartha Pierce is one of the regulars. I had an opportunity to talk with Angela Spruill this afternoon. That was such a fun experience. Thanks, Angela, for let me get in your business a second. I really enjoyed that. And she just called me about one thing and I went off on a tangent because I'm so in love with this. Please hit the like button. Okay. Melanated8. Thank you very much as always for Life with D greetings. And so it's not just your birthday, but you might have a question because there are things I'm going to be working on that I want to make sure that based upon my research that things are working out. So yes, I will do this. Let me see. Do I have a person here? Yep, this is Divine Love. So they're born at 5:29 p.m. So that means you are in the 7th house. No, excuse me. You're in the 6th house. You're in the 6th house. That's exactly where you are. So here's the point. You are, and here's how I start. Because when I call myself an astronumerologist, that's because of how I started in astrology. But then when I was introduced to numerology, that took a whole lot that if a person didn't know their time of birth, which happens in a lot of cases, that I was able to just bypass that and focus on other things. So by sign, you are a Pisces. By element, you are water. But numerically, you are 4. And by element, you are air. So therefore, you are a water sign with a air number. Therefore, feelings and intuitions, yet logic and determination. And it tells me that you like to be different. It tells me you're moving into a year because what I'm doing now is I'm thinking ahead. My brain is already in the 2026, which is the year of the 1 because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10, which equals 1. So what I did was I took her March the 4th, which adds up to a 7, and added to a 1, which is what that represents. And she's going to be in an 8 personal year. So that means, Divine Love, you're going to be entering what is called an ancestry cycle. Ancestors, having events that bring people back into your life that you haven't seen in a long time. That could be reunions, christenings, weddings, baby showers, funerals. Those things that traditionally bring people back together that you haven't seen. Since you're entering an 8 cycle, yes, it's associated with money and authority and power and achievement and all those other things. But it also means you'll be going through a period of growing up. You'll be coming of age. So yes, I know you're born in the year of 89, but it's one thing. Yes, we may stop growing in height, but we always are evolving in wisdom and understanding of ourselves and things of that nature. But your key numbers will always be the 4, 1, and 3, and your best days will always be on Sunday and Thursday. Now, this is Charlotte. She says, is it a good time to move in 2026? Really got the urge to move. Financial outlook. I would say yes is the answer to the question. Here's how I'm able to determine a personal year, and you do it as well. You simply take, let me see something here. You simply take the month, the day, and the year you're born. And I mean, not the year you're born, but the year you want to know about. So in this case, so they says they're February. Okay, now do it. So they're February 16th. And then instead of putting her year of birth, I put the year I want to know about, which is 2026. Okay. And this is what I get. Okay. You, young lady, will be in a 1 personal year. Can y'all see that? It looks a little foggy, stuff like that. Let me see something. One thing about live TV, that's how it goes. Anyway, I keep my shows real. Anyway, that should be, well, anyway, I took the month, the day, and the year she's born. It's a 1. So it's a personal 1 year. I know what to do the next time I do my shows, make sure this lens is clean. But the point being is this. Anytime anyone enters a 1 cycle year, it means a cycle to start anew. The 2026 is a universal 1 as well. So that means not only is her personal year a 1, the universal year is a 1. So anytime you want to start something new, plant new seeds, have new thoughts, new mindsets, new environments, new concepts, new friends or associates or new environments, the 1 cycle is the best time to start. Okay. And the fact that you happen to be in a one personal year and it's a one universal year as well only adds and can easily explain the question about, is it a good time to move? Now, but it all depends. What do I mean? Well, everybody can be in a one personal year, but their numbers may not be the same, which means their days may not be the best days to move. The dates may not be best dates to move. The months may not be best dates to move. So in this case, I know since you have four numbers, which is the 7, 2, 4, and 1, that Sunday and Mondays are your best days. Actually, it's Monday first, followed by Sunday. And that you would always do well, not only in February, but somewhere around June, July, August would be very important to you too. So these would be good times to move. Now, it would also be important too if you knew what place you were going to move to. So for example, 1 is one of your interchangeable numbers. Well, Texas, New York City is a 1, Boston is a 1, Atlanta in Georgia is a 1, and they have other 1 places around around the country and around the world. So it all depends, because when you move, you want to move where the frequency is more in liking with your chemistry. So that's how I'm seeing it. All right. So yes, it's a good time to answer the question. As a financial outlook, well, that means it'd be a good time for you to create your own energy. And I will say this for anyone in a one personal year like you, Shiloh, or anybody, if you happen to enter the year and you've been in what is called a codependent relationship, depending on somebody's resources, depending on somebody's validation, depending on somebody's money, or whatever the case is, the nature of a one cycle, in this case, all of us, because it's a one universal year, will actually teach us how to learn how to be self-independent. Not that we don't need anybody. It's not that. It's just that for those that are in that way, circumstances during the point of the year will either force you to stand on your own, okay? Because you can't depend on somebody forever. What happens if that person is not there? So I would say it's going to be very good. By the way, again, your numbers are the 7, 2, and 4 and 1. All righty. And so, hi to Melinda, one of our sponsors. And this is Unicorn Juice. They are November the 1st. So they are a water sign with a fire number. Where with the first one I read, March 4th, was a water sign with an air number. So now that may sound contradictory, but let me explain. Water rules emotions and feelings and the way things are going at that time, okay? I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. That's that water. Because it flows. It's into their feelings. So y'all hear the person say, oh, they're into their feelings. Well, that's the water energy. That's that intuition side of it. However, hers is backed up with fire and passion. So when she's feeling fired up, feeling motivated, intuitively sensing that I need to get things moving, it's perfect. And notice she's got all those ones. She's got 4 1s. So she's born 11/1/1982. And so that in and of itself tells me right there that this person, because 1982, in fact, adds up to a 20. But that means you conceived in 1981. And let me see, December, January, February. You were conceived around February of 1981. So it tells me one of your parents could have been a Leo, an Aquarius, or Aries, or born on a date that adds up to a 1 or 4. But I tell you this, with your numbers being the 1, 4, and 9, this is a very, very good time for you. And this year, especially since it's going into the year of the 1, because 2026 adds up to a 10, which is a 1. So anybody born on the 1st or the 4th, the 10th or the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month, it is your opportunity to do some dynamic things with yourself. And especially if you come under Leo, or especially if you come under Aquarius, or especially if you come under Aries, But see, the beautiful part is everybody gets a turn, And so in this case, you'll be in a 4 personal year, which is one of your numbers, because your numbers are the 1, 4. So 4 is your second best number. So it's going to give you an opportunity to really get yourself together, Unicorn Juice. Really have a sense of purpose, a set of boundaries, a blueprint, a roadmap, something to go on that leads from point A to point B with a logical conclusion at the end of it. All right. It does mean, though, it's the kind of year you got to put in effort. 4, a lot of people don't like 4 because they got to work. But hey, anything worthwhile, you got to work for it, you know. But sometimes I think now everybody makes things sound so easy until you get into it. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever seen a professional and they make it look so easy? You say, man, I can do that myself. But then when you have to get up off your rusty dusty and do that yourself, you will find that it is not as simple as it's all made out to be. So, and that's what I'm saying. So you got to get out there. And if you put in the effort, young lady, born on November the 1st, rather, you're going to find that by the same time next year, you're going to be so more pleased with yourself. And you're going to see that it's the kind of year that what you put in is what you get back. So if you have the mindset of, well, I'm just going to wait, you'll find that at the end of 2026, you're still going to be in the same position that you are at this very moment. All righty. So this is LaQuisha. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Look, Naquisha. Okay. And you were born at October 17th. So you just had a birthday a couple of days ago. So happy belated birthday to you. You were born at 9:49 a.m. So that means your sun is in the 12th house. No, excuse me. It's in the 11th house, the house of Aquarius. So that means a group mindset, things of that nature. But 8 is a business number. And one of the most friendliest and more complimentary times of the year for number 8 to be born is in the month of October and November and May and January. So each number has a home that's naturally to them where they feel very comfortable or at home symbolically. It's primarily January 1st, followed by May, followed by your birthday month of October. So that means that you have the ability that as you've gotten older, life gets better, especially between your 33rd and 35th birthday. 8 are your executives, your managers. 8 do well in real estate, banking, law, working for the government. 8 are your executives. And 17 is called the 8-pointed star of Venus, or called the power of financial success and the number of immortality. In fact, it's a beautiful picture in a tarot card of a kind of a nude kneeling near a pond, and they got these pentacles, which is money symbolically, which is what pentacles represent in the tarot. And it indicates people who either work around a lot of money, make a lot of money, or know how to get it when the time comes. And for you, you're going to be in a one personal year. So now if you needed to do a self-start, if you want to aim for a promotion or a job or strike out on your own and become more independent and self-reliant, well, the conditions will make it right for you to do just that. Your key or most important numbers are always the 8, the 6, and the 3, and your best days are always on a Saturday, followed by a Friday, followed by a Thursday, working backwards, okay? Now, this is Pamela Terry. She is an air sign with a fire number. So she is heading into a one personal year too. All I simply did was say June the 12th added to the year 2026. That adds up to a 1. So it's going to be a year of self-starting. And it's interesting, she's born at 8:02, which adds up to a 10, which is a 1. And so that tells me, since it's 8 to 10, so your sun is sitting, your sun is sitting in the 7th house. No, 7, 8. Yes, your sun is sitting in the 7th house, exactly. That's the house of partnerships and relationships and contractual types of matters and things of that nature. But Gemini is a youthful sign. 3 is a youthful number. And even though you said you were born in the year of the 2, which is 1955, that's a 20, which is a 2. You either don't act your age, Terry, feel your age, or, you know what I'm saying? You just got this kind of energy about you. And so therefore, this is a year for you to be a self-starter, to do things. You may have retired, but actually, if you did retire, it would allow you to do something totally new with your life. But your numbers are the 3, 6, and 5, and your best days are always on a Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday. All righty. So here we have Marla, and she's born December 21st. And it's interesting because Normally, December the 21st is the very last day of Sagittarius. However, since you were born at 11:13 p.m., it's almost, if they waited about like about um, minutes more, like about 40, 50 minutes more, actually it's 47 minutes more, then that would have took you into 12 noon, which would have been December 22nd, and you would have been listed as Capricorn. But since you were born that close, I would say if you got your chart, you might be 0 degree Sagittarius and or 0 degree Capricorn. This is why, and then she got all the information that an astrologer would need if you look at her information. She's got the month, the day, and the year she's born. She's got the time she's born, and she's got the place where she is born. Because if she was born in California, that's a 3-hour difference. If she was born in Hawaii, that's a 6-hour difference. If she's born in London, that's a 5-hour difference. If she's born in India, that's a 12-hour difference. This is why the astrologers need to know not only what time you were born, but where on this planet. It's not like you're the only one that was born on December the 21st in that year, at that time. There were probably countless, but all in different locales, which is why they need to know, because the stars are constantly in motion, okay, whether we know it or not. So that's very important to understand. But this year is your year to go within. You will be entering a 7 personal year. I took December the 21st, added to 2024 in my head, and it adds up to a 7. 7 is a cycle where you begin to search for things. You begin to go down the rabbit hole of life. I call it the cycle of seekers of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I also call it the law of attraction cycle too. That whatever you're thinking about, that's what will come to you. Whatever occupies your time and attention mentally, that's what will happen. So let's say if health is a concern, wealth is a concern, relationship is a concern, focus on that. Now, here's the irony about a 7. 7 is magnetic in its energy. Magnetized means things are drawn to it. However, if you turn the polarity of the magnet around and push it toward the object will actually run away from you. So don't chase after what you want. You magnetize what you want. And as you know, and from the year you're born, you know how the elders used to say, you let go and let God. That would be best. So I'm going to assume right now you're on the Sagittarius side. I'll put it this way. If you're a Sagittarius, your numbers are the 3, the 6, and the 9. And your best days are always on a Thursday, followed by a Friday, followed by a Tuesday. So let's say though you're kind of in the Capricorn energy, I would say your numbers would be the 3, 8, and 6, which means your best days will still be Thursday, but instead of Thursday, it'll be Saturday and then Friday. That would be the thing. But anyway, I wish you all the best, okay? Yes, Sabrina says this 9 years, wow, yeah, it is. I mean, they got people at each other's throats. They've got wars going all over the place. And see, 9 is governed by Mars, the war planet. And for somebody to come in to say, I'm not going to be at war, and there are wars all over the place, it bespeaks. And don't forget, we're not talking about wars that you read in the newspapers. We have wars with neighbors. Here's some guy was shot because he honked the horn. The lady didn't move the car fast enough in traffic, and she shot and killed him. So guess where she goes? She goes to jail. You think she's gonna go home? So these are the things. And a lot of us, you got to think nowadays, everything we do has consequences. And so, but they've got us responding on impulse. I shouldn't say we're programmed. It's just the orientation that we're not thinking. And this is why I'm saying what's left of this year, avoid all confrontations, arguments, disagreements, let it go. Listen, brother, you're right, okay? Let's say you get in a car accident, you'll bump each other. Instead of getting out being yelling at each other, that's why you'll pay all this expensive monthly insurance on the car. Let the company fight that out. You want to know, listen, are you okay? Okay? Is your family okay in the car? And because you can always exchange the information. But no, we have this road rage, we have this ego thing, and then at the end of the day, as they used to say, when your butt go to jail as against going home for the night to you and your family, Then you ask, was it worth it? Hindsight is 20/20 vision. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things you have to keep in mind. That's why I'm saying that this year and moving forward with this AI, you have to have a very discerning kind of mindset. You have to think for yourself. It's not so much as what you see, but this is why they'll have 10 people be eyewitnesses and they'll all see 10 different things. So just take a closer look, but you're right, it is a wild year. Okay. Yes, know thyself, Teresa. Ashe on that one. Definitely, definitely. All right. I do thank Empress Rel. And listen, I really didn't care or be concerned that much about these thumbs ups, these hit the buttons and whatnot. But please do me a favor. Evidently, I'm seeing that it helps. After 3 years, I'm finally getting it. Okay. This is why I keep forgetting about. Please like, share, and subscribe. That was another thing I should have meant to say. Um, but it actually drives the algorithms, whatever it means. But everything now is AI produced. Maybe you got Gemini on one. I think you got, I forgot what's on Microsoft. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And it's nice to have that, but it is no substitute of thinking for yourself. What to me AI does is it make all the years and work and things that I've done mentally, logically, educationally, makes my life easier. But if you did not have that experience and you go right into AI right off the bat, it'll almost dumb you down in the sense that you become dependent on it. It almost takes away the ability for you to think for yourself. Because I got you, Lloyd. Just put in your information right here, buddy. I got you. You just sit back and whatnot. But the fact that people have argued over each other, there was a man. I saw this was months ago, where he was listening to his AI, and he's now about to divorce his wife because he's got this religious belief, and AI says this and that, and yet that woman been with him all that time. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is just have a mindset, okay? Okay. Yes. Yes. And even Barbarell says that's what the father says. If you don't think for yourself, someone else will. Seriously. And we are now all acting as, well, that's what so-and-so says, but is that true? Like I don't eat any pork products, right? But let's say they saw me coming out of a pork shop. I saw Lloyd coming out of a pork shop. Well, if you know me, you know that's not me. That must be something else. And these AIs now that they've got will have you doing anything you don't even know about. It almost will have you question yourself. I did. This is why, and it's interesting because when 2020, with the outbreak and everything, you couldn't even say the word vaccine without taking off the air. Yet you can create this whole image, and pictures worth 1,000 words. Okay. That, and yet there's no kind of like guardrails. That y'all cannot take a historical public figure like Dr. Martin Luther King and create a situation where he says anything that is not him, or do things that is not him. Now they want to call it satire. No, it's misuse of information. You cannot have Michael Jackson standing in those store dancing with some chicken in his box of chicken in his hands. I mean, it just shows you the amazing abilities and creativity of these AI sites. But it has to be done within ways that make sense, especially to children, especially children from 7 under who don't know the difference, don't have that age of maturity. That's why the first 7 years is one thing. That's when you start the school. The 7th, which is 14, that's maturity. And then 21, which is the age of reason. That's when you really start thinking, finding things. So there's a process. So if you got children under like 14, 15 watching, and now we are quick to stick a tablet in front of our kids, phone in front of our kids, and let them do the babysitting. And then we want to know why it's hard to pull it away from them without you having to go through some conniptions. So that's why Meta has now been put under some guardrails, especially for kids, since there was this thing about, I think earlier this year, where families came into Congress talking about how their children have actually ended their lives fooling around with these platforms. So all I'm saying is just be concerning, all right? All right. Now she says that would definitely do that to get money. That's all it's about. Okay. Now this is a co-prophet. They are born on June the 29th, 1999, Cancer with the Sun in Capricorn and the Virgo rising. Now, what that tells me astrologically is this, occult. You are a Cancer and your sun is in Capricorn. Well, the opposition sign to Cancer is Capricorn, which means if you would look at your chart, you will find that you were born when the chart is in what is called a full moon. That if you took pictures that night on the day you were born, the moon was nice and full and round. Okay. Had you been a Cancer with a Cancer moon, it would have been dark. So this is why when armies attack other nations, they always do it in a new moon because you can't see anything. For those of you who lived in the countryside, you know, you'll see the difference. When the full moon, you can see where you're walking down the road. In a new moon, you just hear your footsteps. And then you have a Virgo ascendant. So that means actually you have a water sign with an earth moon and an earth ascendant. So it tells me that, so earth and water goes very well. So that tells you to have a nurturing personality. And here's where the little contradiction comes in. Cancer is ruled by the 2, or anybody born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, or the 29th of the month, right? Well, the opposition number to the number 2 is the number 9. And one of the most contrarian parts of the 9 of the 2 series is the 29th, because it's composed of a 2 and a 9 at the same time. Not only that, then you're born in the year with all those 9s. So I'm looking, you got 9s going across the board. So out of 4, 6, 7 numbers in your date of birth, 4 of them are 9s. So here's what I'm saying. This would be a kind of a contradictory birthday. I ain't talking about bipolar stuff, medication. I ain't talking about that, occult. I'm talking about the sense there's a side of you that's going to be very sensitive, which is that Cancer sun, but yet very pragmatic because Capricorn is very serious minded, very grounded, and the moon deals with your mentality, the way you're thinking, other than planet Mercury, of course. Your Mercury is probably it's always either in the sign of Capricorn or one sign away. But nonetheless, you would have a very, very practical mindset. But at the same time, it tells me when you're very passionate about something, you would be a very hard person to stop. All those 9s mean you got a lot of drive, energy, get up and go. You were even conceived, in fact, of the year of the 9, because you were conceived in, let me see, June, July, August, September. You were conceived in September of 1998, which added up to a 9. So one of your parents could have either been an Aries or Scorpio, or born on the 9th, 18th, or 22nd, or in the case with you winding up and born in the year of the 1, it means one of your parents could have either been a Leo or an Aquarius or an Aries, or born on a date that adds up to the 1 or 4. But however it's sliced, numerically speaking, in my book, your key numbers are the 2, the 7, and the 6. And your best days will always be on Mondays and Fridays. And this year, my friend, you'll be entering a 9 personal year. Now, 9 is considered one of the opposition numbers to your date of birth. So that means and it's not about hiding in a rock, behind a rock, or, going down the rabbit hole. It simply means to not let people work that more confrontational side of your nature. If people want to get in an argument, say, you know what, you're right. Sometimes that's the best way to diffuse or de-escalate, which is a popular word now, a situation. You know what, Lloyd, you're right. Although you can mentally say, I could kick your butt anytime, but you're right, brother, let that go. Because there are higher purposes to do. And what happens is with 9, sometimes they can be very impulsive. They can lose their temper. And sometimes they will say or do things that they cannot take back. And so, but in hindsight, you're very intelligent. As you are in a jail cell, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I wish I'd have just been patient enough and thought before I socked the guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. But anyway, you're in a 9 years. So look at it as dreams fulfilled. Okay. That's what you do. That's what you do. And this is where you go to download my A Star 8 app. Thank you very, very much. And Empress Well. Now, Patricia, she is born on July 16th. So she's a water sign with a water number, and she's born either 5 or 5:30 a.m., which means your sun is in the first house, the house of Aries, okay? And born in Cleveland, Ohio. I think Cleveland adds up to a number 8, if memory serves me correct. However, it tells me that being a water sign with a water number, you would be deeply intuitive. You're born in the 7th month. You're born on a 7th day, which means you've probably always been described as being snooty or stuck up, or who do you think you are as a girl coming up. But 7 is one of those numbers where they like their own space. They like their own energy. Normally, you can't knock on a 7 person's say like, I saw the light on. I figured I'd come and hang out with you, girl, and see what you're up to. I'd say, Patricia, you don't do it like that. And the name Patricia, though, I do believe adds up to a 20, which is a 2. So that means you're sensitive. Your mom could have been a Cancer or Pisces or born on a date that's a 2 or a 7. But your key numbers are always a 7, 2, and 6. And you'll find that Mondays and Fridays are your best days. Okay. Let me keep it moving here a second. Now, Empress Rel says there's 45 people in the chat and only 28. Now, help me with this, folks. If there are 45 of you in the chat with only 28 pushing the button, and it's free, it don't cost you a penny. I'm just curious, why don't there be 45 people in the chats and 45 buttons pushed? I can see now, like, it's going to cost you $5 every time you push that button where you say, no, I got to think before I push that button because, you know what I'm saying, that's going to cost me some money. But if it's absolutely free, so this is why I don't worry about it. Because if so, I mean, what can I do? It's up to you, but I'm only because my moderators on Monday and Wednesday, like Empress Rel, they always kind of give me the results of seeing that. Me, I don't look at it. I don't do the analytics. How many women, how many men, what age group is this, that? Listen, my whole thing is to come on here, run my mouth, enjoy what I do, try to raise your consciousness, and I'm good. It's just that simple. I'm good. All righty. So please hit the like button. Do that, please. Zeal Neal, Miss Neal, excuse me. February the 21st. I think this is Nina Simone's birthday too, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's politician Barbara Jordan was born on this day and a couple other things, but it tells me you were born at 4:34 in the morning. You're the 11th child, okay? Out of the 11. I know your mother said that was it. That's a wrap. Don't y'all look at me. Don't y'all touch me. Nothing, okay? But here's what it says to me too. Pisces is a youthful sign. 3 is a youthful number. So although you're born in 73, you probably look like you're born in 1986, 88, maybe even 1990 something for that degree. It tells me very creative. And since it's in the house of the first sign, which is the house of Aries, since it's in the very first house of the zodiac, that means that's where your sun is. And so since it's in the first house, that means representing a lot of forcefulness, a lot of dynamism, things of that nature. But you will be going into a 6th personal year. And 6 deals with romance and finance. And your numbers are the 3, the 6, and the 9. So you're about to go into the year that you experienced back in 2017, back in 2008, back in 1999, back in 1981. All those years, 81, 1999, 2008, 2017, and this year coming up. Why? Because all those years I just mentioned in the past added up to a 1. And so that meant you went in a 6th personal year. In one of those years, you may have graduated. One of those years, you may have married. One of those years, you may have birthed a child. One of those years, you may have moved. But you're going into the year that's going to affect everything that's affecting you on the home front. I call it the romance and finance cycle, but your numbers are the 3, 6, and 9. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much, Debrina, because that's exactly what I like to do. Anybody can come on here and talk smack. Somebody had told me that too. Well, why don't you talk about something controversial? I can't think of nothing controversial. That's not my energy. I'm going to be as true to myself as you want to be true to yourself. Okay. Now, when it comes to being positive and uplifting, and somebody had mentioned that to me too. Lord, well, every time you say something, it's always positive. Why not? We have people have been definitely programmed over the centuries of being here in this country to knock each other down quick. That's why Malcolm X would say we think the white man's ice is colder, his sugar is sweeter, his woman is better, to paraphrase it. But we don't say to each other, you know, brother, you a genius. You know, sister, you are very dynamic. You know what I'm saying? We don't encourage these things. And maybe that's why we have some of these issues. Yet we are the greatest people on the planet Earth. I don't care what nobody says. There's the documentation for people to prove it. Although now with this administration, a lot of it wants to be erased. But you can't erase history. The deed is done. The deed is done. There's always going to be knowledge somewhere, somehow, of people who know, such as our Black historians who are all Capricorns, Dr. Diep and John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben and Dr. John, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. I mean, there's just so many where our history will always be told. So anyway, that's my spin, folks. Okay, here we go. Life with the Madam Gunner, who is born September the 23rd. Okay, so you are a Libra 5 person. Your numbers are the 5, the 6, and the 9. You will be entering a 6-person year also. So this is, hold up. 25. Oh, this is somebody who just got here in a New York minute. Okay. If they got here 821, that means their sun is sitting in the 6th house. The 6th house moving toward the 5th house. But I think it's 6 to 8. No, their sun is sitting in the 5th house, which is house of brothers and sisters, things. No, Cancer, that would be Leo. That would be, yes, brothers and sisters and whatnot. But anyway, it tells me this is going to be a very lucky person. I don't know whether this is a child of your own, a grandchild, or a dear friend who just got here. This baby's going to have a lot of personality. This baby's going to have a lot of get up and go. This baby should be always encouraged to learn, because 5 as learners, 5s and 7s always like to learn a lot. But their key numbers will always be the 5, the 6, and the 9. And it tells me one of their parents could have either been born somewhere around April, May, or June, or September, October, or November. One of the parent of this child is just got here in a New York minute yesterday, so to speak, is either born in April, May, or June, September, October, November. One of the parents, or born on a date such as the 5th, the 6th, the 9th, the 14th, 15th, 18th, 23rd, 24th, or 27th of the month. Okay. Thank you. So Empress Rose says, please get the numbers up. I'm going to go a little past Divine Love. You're more than welcome, Divine Love. My pleasure. Okay. Yes, we did. Let me tell you about Sister Sproul. She called about a concern about her Star 8 app. Fortunately, I was in a position where I could help her from my end without having to go through the developer. And so she was pleased with it. No, I had to run my mouth. What's your birthday? And what's your husband's birthday? And what's your children's birthday? But I mean, I really love this. And everybody has a passion that they love if they find it. Everyone. We are so used to just going to school, and that's how I was raised. Well, Junior, you go to school, you get a good education, then you get a job. It was never like you go to school, get a good education, and see what you can develop and bring your contribution to this planet. This is how most people are trained. Black, white, or indifferent. It's just like we want to be worker bees, okay? All we do is just come in, get up, go to work, put in those hours, come home, tired, poop, disgusted, mad, upset. And so people have asked me, do I have a job? When you find your passion, it is not a job. It is something you love to do. And I was blessed in some way, shape, or form, God knows where, to find something I really love to do. And so I thank Sister Sproul, because all she wanted to know was how could she get the app working, and we got that straight, and I started running my mouth. So thank you, Sister Sproul, for letting me stretch out. I appreciate that. That was fun. Okay, Donna, is July 22nd. So she's a borderline case, nothing to do with the mental health. In astrology, people born on the 20th, 21st, 22nd are cusp children. I describe it as having a foot in one sign they're about to leave, going into another foot, the other foot going into the sign next to them. So my experience has been with people born around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, coming up as kids, young people, when they're beginning to find out what this astrology thing is all about and it strikes their curiosity, they'll normally read one sign and then they'll read the sign next to it. And by the time they reach a certain age, like around their late teens, 20s, they kind of know which sign they want to be called. So for example, in the case of Donna, she could have, this could be, in some cases, Cancer ends on the last day, which is July 21st. Then it might end on the 22nd. Or I've seen some cases where Leo starts on July 21st. This is why the astrologer needs to know where on this planet were you born at that time, on that month, day, and year, and then what locale. And that will tell you whether you're 0 degrees this, 0 degrees that. But I'm gonna put you in the Leo. So you're just in the very beginning of the Leo, which means your numbers will be the 4, 1, and 5. It means you would be sensitive, different, unique, misunderstood. It also means you're going into a 3 personal year. So things are about to get real busy because this year things have been kind of up in the air, kind of iffy. But if you take your time, you will do well. But I would say, I'll give you a choice. If you feel you're Cancer, your numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7. If you feel you're a Leo, your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. So on the Leo side, that would be Monday, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. And on the Cancer side, it would be Sunday, Monday, and we're doing Wednesday for the good part too. All right. So before I'm looking at the time, I'm over. Let me see. Okay. I want to see if anybody made a donation. Other than that, I'll spend a couple extra minutes. But I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out who may have made a donation. And this is another thing too. I keep forgetting to mention my site. This is how you get in touch with me. So for those of you who want a consultation, okay, you just go to LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLoyd-Strayhorn, STRAYHORN. All right, .com, of course. We put the .com in there, and you will stick on links for consultations, a link for the Star 8, and a link for newsletters and everything else I got. If you want to take the shortcut, just go to Linktree/numbers and you see all the myriad of services I offer, things like that. Also, I do have a online course on Udemy. You can get all that in Linktree or go to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And please purchase my books too. I've written 6 books. 4 of them are available on Amazon. So you go to Amazon, type in my name. One is in orange, one is in blue, one is in pink, and one is in green. That's to make it easy so you can pick it. The one you get should be my classic. That's the one in orange. Okay, that's the Numbers in You, a numerology guide for everyday living. That is the classic. All right. So now I'm going to take this off because I keep forgetting to do these. Oops. Nope. Let me do this. Okay. Take that off. Okay. Go back to my comments. Okay. I'm going to go back. All right. Okay. See, Cordy, thank you for your donation. Well, Cordy, I don't see your birthday. Okay. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit. Okay. Oh, there you are, Cordy. Thank you. We appreciate you too. You're born December the 11th. All right. So notice you got all those 1s and 9s running through your name. So that means you can be a bossy lady in a good way, honey. That simply means you know what you want. You're going to speak on it. You should have been a lawyer with this birthday, a business owner with this birthday, an entrepreneur with this birthday, a manager, supervisor, director, a groundbreaker with this birthday. You got so many 1s and 9s. So out of 2, 4, 6, 8 numbers in your birthday, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6. 6 out of 8 are leadership numbers, which are 1s and 9s. And it also tells me, although your picture doesn't show glasses, yet you may have sensitive eyes to sunlight, especially your left eye more sensitive than your right eye, Cordy. And I'm also looking at the fact too that the year you're about to enter is a 6 personal year. And that simply means that this is your year for relationships. I call this out, and I also tell women this is the pregnancy cycle too. And all of a sudden, you women can't spell the word pregnant, like I guess we guys can't spell the word commit, okay? But here's the point: numbers speak in symbolic terms. And what it means is this: that you will be in a point where you may give birth to an idea, birth to a plan, birth to a business, birth to an enterprise or a project, or you can have somebody around and say, girl, you're going to be an auntie. Girl, you're going to be a godmother. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not you with the pregnancy, it's somebody around you that's pregnant, but it means giving ideas. A good time to go back to school too and lose a pound or two, which you women love to do. God bless your soul. Okay. Zakia says her twin nieces are born today. Congratulations. That means they're 1 year old today. Because you got 2024. Well, you got 2924, which is way centuries up the road. But nonetheless, if they were born today, let's assume you're saying they're born today, right? So that tells me you got nieces who are geniuses, and they should be told that from the beginning, that they are here and especially endowed with very unique qualities that a lot of people may not understand in the moment. Explain to these twin nieces of yours that they're going to be very visionary. They're going to be very head of the curve, but if they play their cards right, they're going to be recognized for the visionary woman that they can be. And you got to understand and let them know that they'll be on their own between their 19th and 22nd birthday, that they will always be very unique and very innovative in their own way. And this will include some of the relationships where the mother may say, girl, where you get them from? Or the girlfriend say, girl, what's that about? You know how you women have that talk when it comes to us guys. But, and it indicates that they're going to be going through a 6 personal year. So it may mean something like if the babies are just born today, or let's say even if they're born last year, they're still only 1 year old, that the parents may be thinking about moving, rearranging the bedroom, or things of that nature. But anyway, I love the names, Zikora and Ziora. Let's see, that's 7, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ziora, Ziora is going to be the feisty one. That I can tell you. Okay. The other one, Zikora, is going to be the more sensitive one. Okay. That you can tell. All right. So I'm about to wrap this up. This person is born on February the 12th. They are going to be in a 6 personal year, Claude. So that means it's going to be a good time for you to make some adjustments in your life. Now, it's interesting. Yes, 6 is called the romance and finance cycle, but it's a cycle of commitment. Being a person of your word. If you say you're going to do something, that's like taking money to the bank. You're in a kind of a year where you cannot be superficial by saying, oh, yeah, I'll do this and that, and think people are going to forget. They may pretend that they forgot, but they're going to remember that you made a promise that you did not keep. So you will find that if you keep your word, handle your duties and responsibilities and obligations that you commit yourself to, you're going to be more than compensated. I mean, really, really compensated. By the way, you don't look your age, so it tells me not only do you attract much younger women, but women from different cultures too, Claude, which is none of my business. Anyway, your numbers are the 3, 4, and 1. All righty. Okay. And she says, thanks for sharing. So let me just go. Okay. All right. I'm going to read about 3 more. Oh, there's my buddy. Where's he at? King Simon. King Simon is the best. He's going to be here in November, just coming on before his show. He is going to be in New York for a very special celebration at Nicholas Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street. So I want all in attendance, and he's going to be on to talk about it. I'm going to be there on Sunday the 16th. That is for sure. Okay. And yes, Cheryl, if y'all can boost the algorithms, okay. Me, after all this time, I'm never concerned about that. See, if I'm concerned about how many likes I got, how many the algorithms or whatever the case is, then I lose the point of why I'm on here, because my brain is focused in that way. My whole thing is to raise people awareness. Like the show I did this past Monday, I really enjoyed that show with that mother and daughter talking about the detriment of sugar, how to be better eaters, how to have a certain mindset when you shop. And that's why I'm having them back on November 19th. That is for sure. They were just that dynamic. And so, but all my shows are that way. But so if I'm worrying about, well, how many likes am I getting, then I can't focus on asking the questions of the ladies that my viewers need to know about, the ladies in their field. You know, if I'm worried about, well, how's the algorithm going, that takes away. So I've never worried about that. I've never worried about whether you're donated a penny or not. I did not do this for y'all to figure out how much money you're going to donate to me. I'm just not. My whole thing is, as long as I bring you knowledge and wisdom and things that make your life better as a human being on this planet, I have done my job. That's my philosophy. So again, it gets back to what I was saying earlier with these AIs, because just on the internet, some people have been imitating me, asking, well, you need a reading and all that. I don't ask people. People now call me. When I first started, I had to call people, encourage people, but people now call me. So if I'm calling you, something's wrong. You should say, that don't sound like Strayhorn, because he says on his show he'll never DM you for monies. And I really mean that thing, and I've never done that. So this is very, very important, okay? He says, stay away from the controversy. I will certainly do that. I don't get into that. Like, I think sometime in the Caribbean, they call it the bacchanal, the drama, scandals. Oh, did you hear the latest gossip that so-and-so broke up with their lady or their man? I don't got no time for that. And none of them gonna pay my bills either. None of them. And that's why I'm saying, so y'all get caught up in all these celebrities and whatnot. You should ask the question, are they gonna come and knock on your door the next day and pay your expenses? Pay your car note, buy your food, pay. If they're not doing any of that, you need to focus on what you can do for yourself. That's why I says you either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. So with that, let me see. I'm gonna read two more people and then that's it. Okay. Angela Armstrong, let me see. Angela Armstrong was born on March the 14th, 1968, and 6:55 a.m. in Memphis. So that means your sun is sitting in the 12th house, the house of Pisces. But nonetheless, you are a water sign with an air number. Many famous people are born on this day, from Einstein to Touré in Guinea, Burkina Faso, to Simone Biles. This is her birthday. I mean, this is like what's this guy named Michael something in England, the English actor. But it's a lot of people. But nonetheless, your birthday indicates this year for you that you're about to head into your power cycle, which means that a lot of your dreams are going to come true. This year that we haven't, you've been doing a lot of soul searching. Well, not soul searching, but really trying to get and connect with your past, because you happen to be in an 8 personal year, but you're going to be moving into a 9 year, which is the year of fulfillment, the year of doing things in your best interest, the year to do things to kind of really make your dreams come true, embark on long distance journeys, or begin to phase some things out of you that's outgrown its youthfulness. Okay. So that's how I see that. And I'll just take one more. Okay. I'll take one. Goldie, okay, 25, California next year, be financial situation. Well, first of all, you've been in a 7 year this year, because this has been a very important year, because you're born on the 18th, which is a 9. You're born, and this year's been the 9. But if I add your birthday to this year, the month and day to this year, you've been in a 7. So 7 is more of those soul searching cycles. However, the cycle you're about to move into for next year is called the finance, then romance cycle. So this is when you begin to form your own business, get raises or promotions, and that's going to be somewhere around February, and you'll find that things will be looking good. So yes, so right now, this would explain why, if you're not making the kind of money, 7 is more dealing with the law of attraction. But I do explain that when a person's in a 7 year to get what you want, you must visualize what you want and see it on the mental screen of your mind. Because since 7 governs the law of attraction like a magnet, if something gets close to the magnet will draw it. So don't chase, just say, okay, but things are about to happen too. And I think you're going to be in a good place too. So I do want to thank everybody very, very much. Let me introduce and thank my sponsors again, and I'll go through that. From Nicholas, Brooklyn. They're going to have a very special event this Sunday with Brother Haru. They're at 1396 Fulton Street. I've had this brother on my show. The brother is extremely, extremely interesting. And then when I was in Brooklyn and I saw him talk, I was just amazed. So please go and support Monique there at Nicholas, Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street, who is celebrating over 50 years in business. Also, on the 1st, she's going to have of November, this woman and her amazing book, Cheryl McKissick Daniel, on how her family for over 100 years have built some of the most prominent structures that people now take for granted. Yet her family was the one that did that. I mean, this goes back hundreds of years. This ain't no 5-10 years, stuff like that. Then Uchenna, I'm going to have him on a week from today talking about his book. It will be out in a printed form, but right now you can go to Amazon and get it absolutely free. I'm telling you, go to Amazon, click on the book, Sold First, or by Uchenna Hackett. There's his name at the bottom of his book. If you click on that, you can download the book. So download the book now. So this way, when he comes on a week from today, whatever questions you got, you can answer those questions. And I mean, the book is very deep. Also, I want to thank Ms. Kimberly for Manifest on Purpose. Also congratulate her on her book, The Business of Numerology. So since so many people are being laid off and people are looking for options, everybody's not going to roll over and play dead who's been laid off. I can tell you right now. And there's going to be some that says, you know what? This tells me I need to start my own business. So if you need to look at it from a astro-numerical point of view, metaphysically, this is where you go. Get the book, leave a review, take a screenshot, mail the review, email the screenshot in and to Manifest on Purpose, and you will get a kind of a profile. And the QR code is right there at the bottom right. And she's just developed a companion book, Numbers to Business Playbook. Okay. Then my buddy King Simon, I will look forward to seeing him in November as a guest on the show and being part of his celebration on November 15th and 16th. To Sister Melinda, she is offering her services. Okay. So please take full advantage of it. Her number is at the bottom of the screen there, which you can see. And also, since we're now in the water sign of Scorpio, pick up this cycle. So this way you have all 4 of her books. So some of you may have had it when it was in Leo. Now it started out in earth signs. Now it was in air signs, which is a couple of days ago. Now we're in water, and then next will be fire. So make sure you include all these collections. Also take up, so for those of you who want to start a business, but give it that kind of professional flavor by kind of having an AI kind of receptionist, taking your calls, scheduling appointments for you as you get it together, this would be good. Just click on the QR code. You will get an instant discount. All right. And then on the 5th of November will be Jazz Aphrodite and Eric Taylor. And I will say this before I close. It's so interesting. I remember when October just got here, and October is nearly a wrap, but you can still pick up a free copy of my newsletter. All righty. So it's absolutely free. Just go to LLoyd-Strayhorn.com and do that. And when you get it in your email, it'll look like this. That's the way it's designed. And of course, if you look at the top right, it says click to view the entire browser. All the signs will open up. But if not, if you look at it just this way, it'll only go to Leo or somewhere just short of Leo. If you click on it, you can see everything so your sign is not missed. Or you can either hear the audio version of Miss Kimberly and ourselves talking about the October 25 forecast. And for those of you, I do want to thank all of you for getting my Star 8 app. Many of the features, I'm really developing a premium plan that I would like for you to support me in, because for the last 2 years, many of the features have been absolutely free, but I need to move it to the next level and they won't let me do it for free. Okay. So everything, since we're in the real world, for those of you who can subscribe and been subscribing, if you enjoy it, help a brother out for a second. This is the only time I will ask you, only because I really want to add some very important life experience changes and additions to a Star 8 app that I'm very, very proud of. Right. So Monday, Jazz Aphrodite will be here sitting in for me, and I will see you a week from today with my guest, Lieutenant Hackett. In the meantime, all of you take good care of yourselves. Love you much. And please, please think for yourself. That is so, so crucial.